Hello, hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to When the Night Comes. And my goodness, does it feel good to be saying that. It feels very good to be recording again. In the last episode, this is a bit of a struggle for me. It has been many weeks since I last recorded this. I believe we were just about to get started on the whole breaking into the dungeon plan. I think we had entered the catacombs to look for Finn, and he was going to lead us and Piper to the dungeon entrance. I think that's what was going on. The flickering golden candlelight is almost comforting as I head deeper into the catacombs. I know I'm safe here now that I'm aware that it's only Finn's clan that lingers. But there's something about being down here that has my guard up. I smile to myself, thinking that the scariest thing that might actually jump out at me would probably be Raven. I turn the corner and find the place where Piper and I agreed to meet. There's no sign of her, but then I am a little early. With a deep sigh, I lean against the wall, listening to the steady drip, drip, drip of water upon the stone. Then Finn appears before me as if out of thin air.
Good evening.
Good evening to you too, Finn. It has been an awful long while. I greet him with a smile, pleased to have some company. Hello, Finn. Merriman late, or are you just a stickler for being on time? I shrug, pushing away from the wall. The latter. I doubt Piper is ever late. The grin that crosses his face tells me otherwise. Oh, you'd be surprised. I could tell you some stories that involve too much rum and... He stops, rolling his eyes. Maybe another time. Piper emerges from the shadows, her eyes carefully fixed upon Finn.
Stop telling stories, Casimir. Can't a lady be hungover once or twice in her lifetime?
A lady can, however, if there are interesting stories associated with those hangovers, then, they will go down in legend, Piper. You cannot outrun your drunk stories. No. Finn throws his head back and laughs heartily, clutching his stomach. Once or twice, sure. Oh, bugger, what was Piper's voice? I was going with a northern one because I can't do Cockney. Let's not get too deep into such unsavoury tales, shall we? He quickly straightens up, his smile fading. The way his eyes widen, telling me I definitely do want Piper to get into such unsavoury tales. Oh, Piper, what have you been up to? What have you been doing, girl? I know there are DLCs for When the Night Comes. I don't think any of them will be, like, the team gets drunk and you go on, like, drunk shenanigans. I don't think any of the DLCs will be that, but that would be very fun. That would be very fun. Just a night out with Piper on the town, causing havoc. Alas, maybe it's a more appropriate time. Remind me to take you to the tavern for a drink, but we really should get a move on. Piper nudges Finn as she passes, winking at me with whoops. Let's try that again. First tongue fumble back. Oh, there we go. Piper nudges Finn as she passes, winking at me as we fall into step, him trailing quietly behind us.
We'll save it for when the sun is out. Can't stop me then, can he?
Oh, Finn, are you the spoil sport? Are you the spoil sport, spoiling Piper's fun? Oh, let the lady be drunk. As we head deeper into the tunnels, everything feels different. There's no longer that comforting golden glow. The jagged stonework now illuminated by unnervingly still, vibrant blue mage light. Piper's demeanour changes, and I hear Finn pipe up behind us.
We're not in my territory anymore. Stay alert.
Okay, good to know. Then he suddenly stops in front of us, bringing us to a halt. Wait, stop here. I can feel the barrier. It's close. So now what? I stare at Finn's prosthetic, the etchings glowing but still dull. We wait for Ezra's signal. We stand in silence, and Finn begins to shift where he stands. It seems unnatural for him to look so nervous. Casimir, if you don't stand still... He huffs, clearly frustrated. Fiero, you will look for him, won't you? Yes, Fiero was... Oh, come on, memory. You've got this. Fiero was a member of Finn's clan. I want to say Finn said that Fiero was a powerful empath. I might be mistaken there. He said he was powerful. I remember that. And Fiero sensed that there was someone in danger in the woods. And because, he was a very powerful vampire, Finn was like, okay, you can go off on your own. You've got this. And then he never came back. And Finn believed that Fiero was being held in the dungeons. I can't remember if Finn said that the enforcers had told him that Fiero was in the dungeons. I can't really remember that, but Finn was like, he's in the dungeons. He wouldn't have attacked anyone. He wouldn't have done anything dodgy, so they're holding him there for no reason. And he wanted us to look for him. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have high hopes for Fiero being alive, but, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that everything will be okay. Fiero, you will look for him, won't you? Piper narrows her eyes, but her expression quickly softens when she looks at me. We'll look for him. We will.
Thank you. I know you may not be able to free him if he is there, but just tell him we'll get him out, whatever it takes.
Then Finn's arm begins to thrum, the markings coming to life and illuminating the tunnel. He looks down at his glowing palm, flexing his fingers, and he smiles. It's go time.
Let's do this.
Indeed.
Be careful, both of you. And listen out for my signal from the forest exit. I'll alert you the second you need to get out. I'll see you on the other side.
I mean, we'll try to be careful. However, Camille does not strike me as the careful sort. She's to be fair, both Camille and Piper seem like doers rather than thinkers. So I'm like, this could go horribly wrong. We watch him leave, and he disappears into the darkness. Well, let's find out where those bastards are hiding, shall we? I sigh, wondering what we do if we find nothing. If this is all a dangerous waste of our time. I mean, if we find nothing, then we have still gained something. If that makes sense. If we find nothing, then either that could mean that, the enforcers actually aren't involved in this, and this is all one huge misunderstanding. I find that rather unlikely given all of the evidence thus far, but it could mean that. Or, if we find nothing, then clearly they have a secondary base of operations. There must be somewhere else that they are carrying, shenanigans out at. And then we can start looking for that secondary location. So, even if we find nothing, this won't have been in vain, I don't think. If anything... Piper scoffs, nudging me in the ribs with her elbow. It's all right. If we come up short, we'll just go back to knowing fuck all. Comforting. Really, really comforting. Surprisingly, or maybe not, the entrance to the dungeons remains unguarded, and that unnerving yet familiar blue mage light guides our way. They're clearly cocky. They're that cocky that they'd think no one would try and break in. Piper eagerly rushes towards the first empty cell, eyeing the small... If there's a small, frail, fey-like creature inside, then it's not empty. Okay, whatever. That seems like an error, but we'll go along with it. Piper eagerly rushes towards the first empty cell, eyeing the small, frail, fey-like creature that's huddled in the corner. She picks up the clipboard that rests in a wooden holder beside the door. I'ma just retry this. I'ma just redo that whole line. She picks up the clipboard that rests in a wooden holder beside the door. I remember you. Not one of my catches, but a good one. The Fae lifts her head, smiling and exposing a row of shining, razor-sharp teeth. She snickers, the sound more of a hiss than a laugh. We move to the next, doing the same, checking the paperwork. A demon this time, its powers subdued by the enchanted cuffs that anchor it to the wall. Piper scoffs, clearly unamused as we make our way down the row, finding no hunters, no ire. Bullshit, she has to be down here somewhere. Eventually, after what feels like forever, we find a cell that piques Piper's interest. In the shrouded darkness, I can see a set of startling crimson eyes staring back at us, and the figure cautiously approaches. He looks gaunt for a vampire, his clothes hanging off his slender frame, his cheeks drawn and cut far sharper than what the beauty of his immortality may have already afforded him. Piper surges forward, curling her fingers around the thick iron bars. Fiero, what have they done to you? Okay, so he is alive. Well, he's not alive, he's a vampire. He is still walking about. Oh, okay. Hello. Oh, bugger, what was it? Was it H? It was H, aha. Okay, hello, sir. That is a nasty scar you have. Okay. Fiero. Buddy, what am I doing for your voice? Buddy, to be honest, I thought you were gonna be dead, so I did not plan ahead. Okay, Let's just go generic. Piper, what are you doing here? His voice is deep. I try and fail to get a read on his aura. He must have been an empath. He must have been an empath. He's hiding it. Oh, you know, just taking a stroll. What do you bloody think? His bright gaze flicks to me and he shakes his head, his blank expression unchanging. You'll get no reading from me, Hunter. Then I remember, he's an empath, skilled in both masking his own emotions and reading others. I wonder just how powerful he is. Finn and the clan have been looking for you. He blinks, his movements groggy. I don't doubt that. Please tell them not to try and break me out. I've no doubt that Finnegan will be dramatic when you tell him of my whereabouts. Of course he will. Piper grabs his notes, tutting loudly as she scans the page.
Oh, Fiero. Unsanctioned feeding on an enforcer. Resisting arrest. You naughty boy.
Why do I get the feeling that this is bullshit? You know that's not true. They appear to have set me up quite beautifully. Why you? What happened? His stillness is unnerving after being around vampires like Finn. Vampires who do an excellent job at fooling you into thinking they're at least a little bit human. I sensed someone in a great deal of distress in the forest. I didn't want to rally the whole clan for something that was likely insignificant, so I managed to convince Finnegan to allow me to investigate alone. I discovered a wounded enforcer near the outskirts of town. They'd been bitten, probably by a wandering youngling by the look of the mess that it had made of them. I tried to help, to assist them in getting back into town, but I quickly realised that the enforcers had me surrounded. They apprehended me, and I've been here ever since. Piper growls, roughly shoving the clipboard back into its holder. What the fuck are they doing? Harry struck a deal with your clan long ago, and you don't cause any trouble. If anything, you do a better job of keeping the town safe than most of the other hunters. Fiero blinks at her, his mouth twitching ever so slightly. No good deed goes unpunished, Piper. Ooh, have they harmed you? Ask about the other prisoners. Ooh. This is all very interesting. We are here to find Aya. However, I'm kind of more interested in if they've done anything to him, because if you remember with oh bugger, what's his name? Alcar, there we go. With Alcar, he got arrested and he said that they poked and prodded him for a bit. Like, here's the thing, poked and prodded, to me at least, implies not exactly scientific experimentation, but, studying at the very least. And so, wasn't it mentioned that, I want to say that August said that creature appearances had increased in recent years? I don't have that word for word, but they said that, incidents had been ramping up, that years ago Lunaris was pretty normal, however recently things have gotten worse. So, I don't know, maybe the enforcers could be trying to, see what makes creatures tick. Like, trying to see, like, okay, what are their weaknesses? What's, are they immune to anything? And, they will have a lot of knowledge. They've been doing this for a very long time, fighting creatures, but maybe they're like, okay, we need more information. We need more in-depth studies. We need to study Lycans. Lycans haven't committed any crimes. Okay, we'll frame one and then bring him in. Oh, we haven't had any vampires commit any crimes. We'll frame one and bring them in. I think I want to know this. I hate to think it, but I have to ask. Have they hurt you at all? They have not beaten me, nor have they tried to, and I'm not interested in being a troublesome prisoner. I feel a butt coming. But they have been taking my blood. Here's the thing, I can't remember if Alcar said that his blood had been taken. It's just been too long since I recorded that. I can't... That is ringing a bell, so I'm inclined to say he did mention his blood being taken, but that could be a false memory. Ooh. Oh god, this might sound weird. I'm getting a Grey Warden vibe from Dragon Age. If you're not familiar with that franchise, the Grey Wardens, they're basically monster hunters, and specifically they hunt Darkspawn. Darkspawn are kind of like zombies. Not really, but kind of. And how someone becomes a Grey Warden is that they must drink Darkspawn blood, and that gives them certain immunities. Like, it makes the Grey Wardens immune to the Darkspawn taint, which makes people very, very sick and eventually die. Yeah, so whenever I hear, like, oh, they took my blood, my brain jumps immediately to Dragon Age. So I could be reading too much into that based on, my experience with another franchise. I don't know, but that's the vibe I'm getting. It's either gotta be that they're doing, like, science experiments, on creatures using their blood and all of that, or it's like people be drinking blood. One of the two. But they have been taking my blood. You fucking what? That seems pretty important. Leading with that would have been handy. His lips twitch as if he might be considering smiling. He rolls up his sleeve and his forearm is covered in angry bruises. I've never seen a vampire mark this easily. Unless... they've been starving you. He covers his arm, nodding. Yes. Piper's gaze is fixed firmly upon the ground, her brows furrowed. She's restless and agitated. I am too. What could they possibly want your blood for? I wish I knew. None of this makes sense. And yes, have you seen Aya? Have you seen any humans being brought down here? Specifically hunters. They keep the others far away from me, as you can see. He's right. There are at least 5 or 6 empty cells between him and the next occupied one. Though I might have sensed something. I assumed at first it was my hunger dulling my senses, but... His brow furrows. I'm confused about what species they are. Their scent is unusual. I think I said this before. I hope I said this before. I can't remember. As I said, been a very long time since I last recorded this. I'm getting Major Frankenstein vibes from the creature. I'm very sorry if I went over this in the last episode, but I'm just gonna go over my thoughts on what I think is going on with that. Just the fact that it was so mismatched. There was that line about how the eyes were all different. They weren't blinking in tandem. They were kind of blinking at different rates. And then there was that line about, like, oh, I felt like I should feel badly for it. I felt like I should have pity for this thing. And then the line about, I felt like I knew it. It seemed familiar to me. I feel like the creature... I feel like it's a Frankenstein-esque... I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. I don't think Aya is alive. Or at least not as Aya. I think there's a pretty good chance that parts of Aya are alive. One of her eyes, maybe some of her teeth, a hand, an arm, a leg, but I don't think she is alive and whole as herself. I think she and potentially other hunters, because we know of at least one that's missing. The one that Alcar got in a fight with. That hunter is also missing. And we don't know if there are others. So I kind of think that this creature is some kind of Frankenstein amalgamate of the missing hunters. And bad vibes. Bad vibes all around. I'm confused about what species they are. Their scent is unusual. Unusual how? It wasn't human, but it also wasn't something I'm familiar with either. No creature that I've ever come across, anyway. And I've lived long enough to know when something isn't right, when something is new. I look at Piper, and she's doing everything she can to avoid eye contact. She's thinking about Aya. I can feel worry rolling off of her in waves. Piper.
I need to know if my friend is alive.
I don't think you're gonna find any happy answers there. Fiero offers her a sorry look, the most animated he's been thus far. I suspect that he can feel her pain and her anger. I wish I could offer some clarity, but I cannot. All I know is that your enforcers aren't the honourable agency that they claim to be. Something dangerous is afoot. She visibly deflates, her shoulders sagging and her balled fists relaxing. What are they doing? I've dedicated my life to these people. So have you. I nod, a lump in my throat. I feel sick, everything inside me screaming, telling me this is all wrong. If Aya has been here, there'll be a trace. There has to be. You're right, we should keep looking. I clutch the bars, getting closer to Fiero. I can't set him free right now, not when we don't know how much time we have, but I won't leave him here to wither and die. We'll get you out of here, soon. Somehow, I don't doubt that, Hunter. Piper tugs at my sleeve. We may not have much time. Fiero quietly sinks back into the darkness of his cell, and I watch him settle upon the ground. It pains me to leave him, but I know he'll be okay. He survived Levi. He can survive this. We find the warden's desk and rifle through the drawers with haste, and Piper gasps as she sets her sight on a bundle of prisoner manifestos. The type that should be outside the cells. These are incomplete. Why are they tucked away in here? She reads them quickly, her eyes frantic as she scans the messy writing. I see her resisting the urge to crumble the parchment. She hands it to me and turns away, her hands in her hair. All of the other occupied cells had their paperwork neatly displayed outside, listed as their species, arrest date, offence, and an abundance of useless little details to keep the enforcers busy. But these two apparently hidden sheets that Piper has given me are different. General Aya Walker and General Azazel Ripley, we have not heard that name before. And I'd put money on that being the hunter Alcar got into a altercation with. That's the only other unnamed hunter that's been dicking around so far. Oh, there goes my timer. I'ma just go on for a little bit. Who is this Azazel? Also, I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly, but oh well. Piper turns to face me. I knew it! The hunter that Alcar fought with. Oh, shit. And he's in a cell. They arrested him for getting attacked? No, that's a cover-up. That is an enforcer cover-up if I ever saw one. I hate to say for what feels like the trillionth time, but what the fuck? They checked Aya out of her cell last night. Him too. Fuck. But look. She points at the time scribbled next to their names, and there's only a check out. They haven't come back? It's been over 24 hours. This is not good. This is majorly bad juju. They haven't come back. Then a loud banging echoes from down the hallway, and Piper quickly snatches the manifest from her hands, shoving them into her shirt. Let's go. And with that, I am going to bring this episode to a close. In the next one, what was that banging? Are we about to be discovered? Will we have a fight on our hands? Tune in next time to find out. So, until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Kallista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.